30 seconds.
Amen. Music.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What up, people? What up? What up? What up? It's Across the Lines. We back. What's up?
What up? What up?
What's up? What's up, guys?
Let's
We are here today.
go.
We got a great show. We're doing some good things, people. I want everybody to jump on here. Also, there's a number at the bottom of the screen, guys. If you want to call in, just let us know. I'm gonna have the line up. You guys can call in and say some good things, give your response on a topic. We'll save the last 5 minutes for call in, and we will respond to anything that you guys want to talk about, anything that you want to get at, something we've said in our topics, something that happened on sports that we or point in a topic that we didn't hit, and you want to bring it to the light. This is the place where you can do that. You can ask your question, and we'll be more than happy to dive in it. And even if your question don't make no sense, we're gonna act like it do make sense, and we're gonna answer your question. All right, because we are children of God. Amen. All right. Well, we're glad to be off in this thing again, guys. We got my main man. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's an extraordinaire. He's the other side of the coin. You're looking at one side, he's looking at the other. My man Burrell B3 off in this thing. What's up, brother? Say hey to everybody.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing tonight?
What's going on, Doc?
Great weekend in sports. So I can't wait to chop it up and get into it.
Cool. Next we got up the one and only Miss Pretty Lady Will.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Let's talk. Let's get into it. I'm excited as well. Happy to be on.
All right. Next we got the main man, Pastor James Kilgore. James, let them know what's up for Putnam County.
What's going on? Good to see everybody. Happy New Year. Glad to be on the show tonight. Ready to chop it up, talk about the good things. All kind of stuff is happening. So let's get it going.
Let's go.
And last but not least, from the MI, he's from Orlando, Florida. My man, Kevin, what's up, bro?
What up, fam? Hey, man, I done missed y'all a couple times, Doc. We're dealing with some stuff on the home front, but glad to be back, ready to dive into it and deal with this Georgia talk stuff. Lord have mercy.
Glad to have you, Kevin. Glad to have you back.
We looking for the you.
That's what they do when their team is at home on the couch. They just
Pretty
throw
much.
off on other folks' teams. And
Listen,
Out.
I always wanted everybody to lose when Miami was losing. I ain't care if it was a tie all the way across the country. I ain't want nobody to win.
You want everybody to be tied up, huh?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. No problem. Well, we are on this thing. I need everyone, if you're listening, do me a favor, put a comment on here. Let us know where you're calling from, also where you're looking at it from. Also, some of your comments may not pop up because you have to give Facebook permission or StreamYard permission to release your comments. We can't control that. That's what you control. So if you're on here, give us a shout out, say where you're from. We're going to call your name. We'll put your comment up on the screen. The whole nine. We want to make sure we give everyone love. Share. Everybody go to Across the Lines sports show. It's a page, Across the Lines. Like us, follow us. We got some good stuff that we're doing. This year is going to be excellent. We got a segment that we're getting ready to introduce that we've been working on behind the scenes, where we're going to be featuring our youth and those who are active in their churches and their community. This is a kingdom-based, and I say those words strategically and intentionally. It's a kingdom-based sports podcast because we want to always echo the kingdom. We want to recognize our own young people, and sometimes some of our youth don't get an opportunity to be seen. You don't get an opportunity to be recognized for the good work they're doing in their homes, at their church. I'm a junior usher, but I'm on the basketball team. I'm a junior deacon at my church in the deacon or the young men's program, but I play tennis at my school. Everything ain't basketball, everything ain't football, everything ain't baseball. There's other sports such as swimming, soccer. You got some kids that are in golf, and I want to just highlight all of our youth, no matter Fishing, yes, fishing is a sport. It is. And listen, and you'd be surprised how many folks find peace on the water. I can't hear nobody. Find peace on the water fishing.
Tell him thank you.
And they have a good time, but we want to recognize all our youth, no matter who they are, where they are, long as they're doing positive things and doing the absolute best. That's what God wants. And it's almost like what I teach at my church. God ain't looking for you to come down with a halo over your head. He wants just the best that you got to give him. Because if you give him your best, he'll work with that. And he'll turn that into greatness. That's why that scripture says his strength is made perfect in our weakness. Where we fall short, he's able to pick us up and transcend us to another level. So we're about to jump on this show, guys, and make this thing happen. I'm grateful to be back on the ones and twos, on the microphone with everybody here tonight. And we're going to get into this show. So our first topic that we're going to hit, it's a hot topic. It's piping hot. We got to get on it. I can't prolong it. I can't wait because he may be somewhere else tomorrow doing something else crazy. So I got to move now. So
Not now.
My man, CEO Brown. Let's chop it up. Let's chop
Lord
it up.
have mercy.
I'm going down. I think where he's from. Come on, Kevin. You got to bring it, man. He's down there from the bottom, I think.
Doc, listen. If a guy is willing to walk away from $30 million, these little incentives that I saw yesterday, 300,000 for a next catch, a touchdown, and so many yards, it means nothing to him. The only thing is, I think Tom Brady was like, we should give him a chance. We don't know the circumstance, this, that, and the third. I get it. But he has to be held accountable, Doc.
Got you.
I think about my man Flash Gordon, the receiver who has a Mary Jane problem addiction. I think about Dexter Manley. I think about Lawrence Taylor. All these guys had vices and addictions they were dealing with, but they were professional on the field. You know what I mean? And off the field, they dealt with the way they dealt with it, but it was never this. We know what he said to the GM in Oakland. We know how he went live in Pittsburgh when they won the playoff game. New England kicked them out. Now Tampa Bay, what was it? The COVID vaccine card. He didn't want to pay for that. And now the cat pull off his uniform and piece everybody in the middle of the game. I'm done. Hey, listen, I don't like to cancel nobody, but what a way to retire.
Right.
What a way to retire. You talk about walking off the field.
Right.
Poor fella.
All right, pretty lady Will, let us have it. You down in the bottom.
I'm with Kevin. It was sad. It was really sad. It's like, come on, you pouting like this is what we do. And you have to realize you have a lot of young people watching him as well, looking up to him. And this is how you handle your business. Like, I get it. I get you. You may be frustrated. You're upset. You're not getting the catches. He's going another route. He going to get you your million. Don't worry. Tom brought you there. He's going to take care of you. All right. But you can't handle situations like that. I mean, the game was going on. I said it was the end of the game. And he asked me for an Uber, like the security to take him to the airport. Like something is not right. You know what I'm saying? It's evident. It's prevalent. It's not right. And as you can see, like you said, Kevin said too, when you walk away from 30 million, it's never about the money, right? You see how you're acting. This is who he really is. I think Shannon Sharp said it best. This is how he really is. It wasn't a fluke of these other places the way he acted. This is how he really is. Everybody thinks they can control him, have him under wraps. No, this is how he is. Totally unprofessional. And he thought he would just walk away from Tampa. But hey, he did. Definitely. You waved your. Nobody wants you anymore like that. They can't have third quarter. Like you just walk. I ain't never seen nothing like that before in my life. So, wish you were Antonio. Hopefully you get whatever it is that you're looking for. Because if it's attention, you got it. I mean, you got it the wrong way, but you got it, So, yeah. Wow. That's all I can say on that one. Crazy.
All right. Before I get to James to bring us home, I got to bring in my man. He got this heat. Come on, Burrell. Let us have it, bro.
I think the big issue here with Antonio is something that a lot of people are talking about. I saw somebody, and you saw it in the group today, in the Two Live Tuesday Sports group today. I put it in there where people are talking about it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, this is stuff, man.
I think sometimes as African Americans, we do this thing of creating our own enemies that really aren't there. Like this wasn't this conspiracy. The NFL wasn't trying to get him. The Buccaneers weren't trying to make him play on an injured foot. You didn't practice, but you've been playing in the first half. So
thank you.
Come on, man.
Across the back of the end zone.
and then you exactly you high step and was doing all kind of stuff. But I just literally to piggyback on all y'all, he's never gonna play again. I think the thing is he was able to skate by on being so talented.
Yes.
Right.
But this last go around, when your former wide receivers coach or offensive coordinator and a quarterback who the world thinks walks on water, he's to the NFL what LeBron is to the NBA.
Right.
Right.
If you mess it up with him, kind of like Westbrook is doing with the Lakers, you done. It ain't no coming back. So I mean, and I hate it, but I do think that the bigger question is we gotta start talking about this CTE with these athletes and these players, man, because he's clearly suffering from something. It doesn't excuse his actions. His action was deplorable. But the boy is suffering from something, man. I just pray he gets the help he wants. The danger with getting help though in those kind of areas is when you got all the money, you count all the shots, your yes man voices sound way stronger than the people who really care about you.
That's true.
That's true. Can I say something real quick too? To your point, listen, T.O. was a wonderful talent, but his antics got him out the league. T.O. could run as fast, catch as good, jump as high as any other receiver towards the end when he was playing with Cincinnati and I think Buffalo at the end of his career. But when he showed up the Eagles and was doing sit-ups in his driveway, them owners remembered that. The difference between T.O. and A.B. is A.B. retired in the middle of the game.
Right.
I don't even think T.O. submitted his papers yet, so he still want to play, but A.B. nah. It's one thing we all know people who keep stuff going, or they'll say he's a cancer in the locker room, but amongst his peers, we love him, we embrace him. That's one thing when you have your peers support you. You're not gonna show up nobody's company, nobody's organization, or nobody's business acting like that. And that's the bottom line. The NFL not gonna deal with you. You know the Bucks not gonna deal with you. So I don't know. Why would an analyst, why would Fox, ESPN, CBS, why would they even want him on that show? Other than to tell his story, it'd be just a story, not to analyze football. So in a lot of ways, I hope he redeems himself. But in the very near future, he blew it.
Yep. Mr. James, bring us home, bro.
Well, I mean, just like I said, some of the same things everybody else is saying, but I think, dealing with basically the NFL is different. NBA, they might let you slide on something. Those owners, they're a little bit, more lenient, and then they may let you deal with that. But going back to what my man Will, what he was saying is that basically that you embarrass these people on national TV. So that doesn't go well with them. They just don't deal with that. I mean, you look at Kaepernick. I mean, I look at a lot of the quarterbacks now that is out there right now. I mean, he's better than half of the people that's playing right now, but he's not playing. When you cross that line with these guys, it's like, that's it for that. They've dealt with him for long enough, and if you go back and check the history of everything that he's done, but they still, some still let him come back because of his talent. But now it's come to a point. Tom Brady invited this man into his house, brought him into his family and everything, did everything that they could do to try to make this situation work. Because Tom Brady want to win. He, look, I don't care what's happening, whatever. Get me the players, get me the receivers. I'll try to work with them, do what I can do, help mentor, help guide, whatever I have to do to try to get them in line so that we can win another Super Bowl. So he wants to win. So at all costs. And from his interview, I believe, they had made somewhat of a friendship. But even in that, he looks at that like you let the team down. It wasn't just you let you've let the teams down in the past, but you let yourself down as well. But I mean, really, it's not just about him. He needs help. There is something going on. I believe underlying issues and different other things that be taking place, mental issues, whatever. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not gonna dwell on that much. But I do believe though he is dealing with some issues and situations, because you can't just throw away your life like that and not something really is going on underneath, all of the other issues, all the other situations that's going on. It's something going on off the field that he's been dealing with for a long time, and people have neglected to address it for years because of his talent. You can probably take it all the way back to Little League and all the way back up through middle school, high school, college. If you do his history, you probably pull up I don't know how many different things and situations that he has broke the rules, has done sudden acts and different things that were not appropriate, but they made concessions because of how well he can play. And that's the danger that we have in our society today with our coaches and parents and all our authority officials. When they're looking at that bottom line for that dollar, they really don't care about, what this is doing to this individual and how they're going to actually turn out at the end. So now we see what happens after all these years, and all this just comes to a head on national TV. You running off the field with your shirt off and doing jumping jacks and giving a peace sign and all that. So, I like I said, if you do the history on it, I guarantee you this ain't the first time he done ran off the field or did something in a game that is, not to this magnitude, because he's not on TV doing it. But as I heard from some of the other announcers this morning that were talking about, they said some stuff that has happened that has not been revealed.
That's right.
That's even worse than this, but it wasn't done publicly. So, but now you're on a public stage. You've embarrassed these businessmen. They're not going to deal with that, and it's going to be hard. I mean, I even look back at Ron Artest when he did that with when he got in that fight years ago. But they forgave him. He made it back. But that was against fans, and it embarrassed the league a little. But what he did was blatant, disrespect for leadership and anybody else that was, in that in the association and in the team for Tampa Bay. So the front office, everybody, he just basically turned his nose up at them teammates and everybody else. I don't think he can come back from that. We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah.
Well, in the words of Charlie Murphy, he is a habitual line stepper. And that is the problem. He done stepped over this thing too many times. And sometimes you can't get back. It's just like it's the old adage. You burn that bridge, you over there. You got to stay over there. And it's going to take an act of God to get him back in there. And this is the truth of the matter. As long as he made money, won Super Bowls, they were willing to tolerate his foolishness. And I'm going to throw this little side piece. I almost look at it, their toleration, almost like the tolerating of steroids in baseball. They knew it was there. Chicks dug it. It made money. It packed the stadium out. But when they hit the fan, then they tried to do something. Well, as they said, as I think it was Kevin or James said, it's stuff that's been happening that they didn't know about. They've always known this dude was a head case.
Yeah. I mean, and
can I tolerated
jump in on that? Can I? It's the same thing. Like I said, I hold the people in position just as well. These people that sit in authority, they hold a responsibility as well.
Right.
You don't just have people that work for you and you don't care about them and see about their mental state and health and whatever else is going on. They're just as responsible. Old coaches, parents, everybody that's had a hand in raising this individual have played a part in this, and they have a responsibility. But he has a greater responsibility. It's his life. So it's greater. It's greater part is on him, but they hold a part on it. Because everybody now is saying, well, we don't want to have anything to do with him, and he's not a part of the team. You knew that before you hired him. You already knew his resume. You knew what was going on. It's not like something like he just jumped out the closet like, I'm Tony O'Brien. I'm AB. You knew AB before you got AB.
Listen,
AB and C. You knew all that stuff. Don't even trying to hear all that. So no, we just surprised. Yeah, how you surprised? This man got a record long as I don't know what I'm doing and offenses and everything else. So y'all know what was going on, but now everybody's like, that's not how we run our association. Well, you knew all of that before you hired him.
That's it.
I got a quick question. This is for Burrell. I'm going to shift gears here because we went over by a couple of minutes. Would you put this in the same category of prostitution of a person's skill set, knowing that they actually need a lot of help, but because that this, and this is the name I'm going to throw out at the end of this, they have a gift, they're ultra talented, but you, instead of really getting them the help, you push them through like a Mike Tyson was pushed through. Because some of Mike's issues begin to surface after a while. It's only but so long they can keep that stuff down, and then he start to have issues in life and society?
I don't think so. I'm gonna tell you why. So
Go
having
ahead.
family and friends who play professional sports, they give you the tools to get the help. What we have to realize is a lot of these athletes, not a lot, I won't say a lot of them. Because if you think about the majority of athletes, number one, the majority of athletes are not even paid and compensated well, especially in NFL, right? Like the
Right.
average athlete in the NFL makes six figures and not millions of
Right.
dollars, which is actually really unfortunate. Unfortunate. So I don't think so, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think well, I'm gonna say yes and no. I think so in the case of that they're both using each other. I think that in Tampa Bay's case, in Pittsburgh's case, in all those cases, I think that they said, "Hey, you got to get some help. We're gonna set it up," but it's up to that athlete to choose to do it. I think some athletes do. You take Max Crosby or even Damian Waller, who said, "You know what? I got issues. I got demons. I got to get this fixed." You take Hayden Hurst, who was playing for Atlanta Falcons. You take Calvin Ridley, who said, "Hey, you know what? I got to step away." You take the young man Alex Brown. People don't realize this stuff is getting these kids younger and younger as well. This CTE is starting to affect them at an even younger age now. Like these kids are 20 years old, 21. I didn't even know Alex Brown. He came on and told people he literally was trying to kill himself a year into his career.
Wow.
And his coach and the management helped him, and his agencies helped him because he wanted to kill himself.
Wow.
Calvin Ridley has walked away from football, as we know. So I don't necessarily think so. I do think that they may push the athletes harder and not press the issue of them getting help. So in that case, yes. But in most cases, these owners, these people, they have billion-dollar companies, and they know how to get the kids the help. But it's up to you to go get the help. I think when we're looking at an isolated case like Antonio Brown, I think he's just a demigod who is very, very narcissistic, and I hate it for him because, like we talked about earlier, Terrell Owens was the same. Calvin Johnson was the same. But at some point, they got together and was like, "Hey, look, I can't keep burning these bridges." Antonio is on a totally different level. I think even with them, they were able to say, "Hey, you know what? I need to get some help a little bit." This kid, he beats by his own drum. So I don't necessarily think that they use him. I believe that they probably all have said, "Hey," like you said, they know, and they probably say, "Hey, you got to get some help." I just think that he refused.
Yeah, and you can probably, you can see that there's some stubbornness there. What's the kid that left the 76ers? He was the number 1 overall pick.
Oh yeah, he went to Orlando.
after that.
Orlando.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
But he was suffering from mental issues, mental health situations, whereas he was tormented, and the kid could flat out ball coming out of college. Actually, when they go back over the footage, you could see it in his workout. They say he was falling apart in the workout, just misses. But they was like, no, we've seen this college tape. He's legit.
Martell Fultz.
Markel Fultz.
Yeah, Fultz.
Markel Fultz. That's it.
Mhm.
Markel Fultz was he was suffering from mental issues. So this actually begs the question: is and I do. This is just me as a person, individual. My thoughts, my perspective on it. I think there's also a spiritual attachment to it as well, that's attacking the minds of these young folks.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe there's a lot of things that you could do on the natural side, but I still always see the element of there needs to be some deliverance that has to step on the scene. Whereas we as a kingdom citizens can say we pinpoint exactly where this is. Like I'll give you an example. Someone that deals with anxiety. Well, anxiety is rooted in fear. Mm-hmm. And when you begin to approach these things, this is where we have to bring that kingdom element to the table to say, I recognize this is a sickness, this is a help, but there's also a spirit that's attacking as well. And we have to combat this thing from that side. All right, that's my little piece. Anybody want to say something? I know I opened Pandora's box. I open the full garage door now.
We better roll. Better roll
for a takeoff. Okay, we going. All right, next thing, guys. We are going to get on this. We're going to roll backwards. I'll save the last topic for last because that's gonna be short because we are gonna blast that one. But let's get on this college football semifinals. Let's talk about it. Was these results to be expected?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I'll start. Absolutely, yes. Positively, yes. No doubt. We knew. Come on. We knew. We weren't crazy about it. We understood Cincinnati who. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. We always felt the SEC is the strongest right out of all of them. So I felt like we knew what was going to happen. We knew Bama was going to do what Bama does. They have great coaching. They know how to come at the game in a different perspective. We knew they had to run the ball. We knew they weren't going to allow him to throw the ball, Bryce Young. So we knew that was going to be the outcome. Okay, so they can hold their heads up. They had a great season. They came against a better team. I think at the end of the day, everybody in the world knew that Alabama and Georgia were going to have a rematch. You put us against Michigan, yes. I did have a little concern. I ain't gonna lie in the beginning. You got Kirby on the sideline coaching. Our defense, you know, they weren't properly prepared for the SEC championship. You know, it showed big time. But I felt like they had a chip on their shoulder and they had to prove that we're not a gimmick, right? We're not just a fly-by-night. We weren't overrated. And it showed. Like, we're going to hit you in your mouth over and over again, and we're going to see what you do, Michigan. And we saw you had nothing to punch back with. So at the end of the day, let's go. Let's rock. Let's see what the SEC is really all about and see if we can take down Nick Saban. I mean, I wasn't surprised about the outcome at all. I really was. I really thought that we were going to be a little bit more, you know, it was going to be a little bit more competitive with the Michigan game. I really did because, you know, but at the end of the day, the better team won. And that's just how it is. All right, James, what you got to say? Because I know you want to come next.
Well, my kick on that is I think some of the Georgia fans, I'm a Georgia fan, love Georgia, been loving Georgia for years, you know, back when you just had to listen to it on the radio. Couldn't even see it because we was at church service and we had to get back home and all this type of stuff and everything from revivals and missing games, but we had to listen to it on the radio along with the Falcon game. That's how we came up. But I know some of them Georgia fans were shaking in their boots. Now, we knew that Bama was going to win. But at the same time, it was a good percentage of Georgia fans from the last game that was still in one way or another shaking. The reason I can say that is because every time someone says something about what Georgia didn't do productively or whatever they could have worked on, or y'all just hating, y'all just, you know, but some of these fans are so offensive behind it, and it shows the fact of that they're scared. You got to learn to walk in being a champion. That's the one thing about it. That's the thing about life too. You got to practice walking being a champion. Georgia hadn't learned that yet.
Right.
Bama, they just breathe that. It's like it's second nature to them.
Culture.
You know, they built that culture, and it's like that. Georgia fans, if we to be honest about it, and I love Georgia, people were sitting on the edge of their seat. Let's see what's going to happen in the first quarter. And when we went up and started just going at people, okay, all right. Everybody calmed on down. And everybody, oh, yeah, we Georgia, we the dog. Roo, roo. You know, yeah, hunker down, hairy dog, all of that, you know. But before that, though, folks were sitting there like, man, Michigan looked pretty good, man. They won their championship and everything. You know, they looking good. They got a good team, good coach, and you know, I'm gonna be real because the Bible says if you tell the truth, it'll set you free. You got to get free from this stuff and be real about this thing. And they know they were shaking, and to be truthful about it, they still shaking. We still shaking. We still sitting there like, okay, we won that. We did what we supposed to do. All right, now can we beat Bama?
That's
a big question.
That's
a big question. God, that's a big question. Ooh. And then, like I said, I could go on and on about this. And me and Tommy had a talk earlier and going about with Bennett and everything. Bennett did such an excellent job. I'm not fooled.
Nobody.
Don't sit there and say that. A real quarterback, a person that knows quarterback and can critique this thing and look at this thing. No, hold up, man. Half of them passes was in the flat. I ain't trying to. It was people down the field open. I'm not
manager. He's a manager of the game.
Yeah, that's true. Because when you play Bama, you're not gonna get away with that. Those passes in the flat. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Because the thing is, the reason you were getting away with that because they had them small corners out there, them small linebackers, and we got people over here blocking bigger than the linebackers that they got from Michigan.
You gonna start on this show?
Our wide receivers are bigger than the linebackers that they had for Michigan. So when they set up them trips, Oh, you getting blocked. You getting ran over. You gonna get pushed. Did anybody see when Pickens pushed the little kid over? He ought to be locked up. Somebody should have called defense. Ain't no sense in that. He just bullied that little kid and just pushed him over and just ran him over and then told the crowd to get quiet. Shh. Watch this. I'm gonna get it. Boom, just hit the little kid and just ran him on over. Try that with Bama. That ain't not gonna happen. You're not gonna get away with those passes. You're gonna have to read that defense, and you're gonna have to be able to make those passes and just not that those dump offs, those drop offs. You're not gonna be able to just do that because when they come with you, they're gonna come with the blocking. But
Michigan played to our strengths, though, right? They played to our strengths, right? They're a running team. We had a strong front seven, so they're not coming. Whatever their strength was, they played to ours. So we knew that was going to be the situation. Like, I wasn't worried about that game. It's just like, and you heard what Kirby said, though, which was very interesting. He talked about the QB position at the end. He said, we got two great QBs. You heard him? He said, yes, Stetson was good. We got JT too. JT Downs, he's just as good. I said, oh.
This is the first time ain't in the game at the end of the game.
Huh? Why he getting
JT ain't in the game at the end?
He was like, we got two. So they kept saying about Stetson. He kept saying again, no, we got two great. We in a great position. We have two great QBs. I said, so let's see what he ain't never mentioned it before. We're gonna see what happens.
But we shall see. Like I said,
see.
To answer that question though, what happened was supposed to happen.
You were scared, James? Were you scared?
Me, was I scared?
Yeah, tell the truth, shame the devil.
I'm gonna tell the truth because the truth will set you free.
He will. Go ahead.
I was a little nervous.
All right, Miami fan, get it out.
It was as expected. I thought Cincinnati would play better. They didn't. I'll tell you what I did. So I went back and looked. I did something I don't like to do, and I looked at analytics on the Michigan side, and unless it was just within their conference or the country, they didn't lead their conference in rushing, passing, yards per game, or points per game. So the Michigan we saw against Ohio State was bad news bears, Rudy. We got to get one for the chipper type deal. So if you had those fans from Georgia that were a little concerned or nervous because of the way they played against Alabama, if you paid attention to the analytics or you saw the way Michigan played all year, nah.
That's who they were, who they are.
Nah, they were who you thought they were, and they weren't good. Okay. And
it really wasn't about what Michigan could do. It was just about how Georgia was going to react.
Absolutely.
That was the question.
Absolutely.
Because I know on paper, you're supposed to beat these kids to break. Beat the brakes off them, beat them to sleep. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But when you get down to the psychological part of it, the mindset of it, how do you rebound? See, this is how champions are built. Champions have to be built through the season, through oppression, through trials, whatever you're dealing with, and you got to learn how to transform yourself in those areas. You have to learn how to walk in that mindset. Like I said, that same thing I was telling our football team down here this year. I said, one thing last year, we made it to the playoffs. This year, we got a target on our back. You got to learn how to walk in these stadiums like you own the stadium. You can't come in here like that. So that was my thing about Georgia. Have they got that mindset yet?
Yeah.
It's not about the skills. You got enough stars over there to fill the heavens. All them players you got over there, but it ain't about that. It can y'all win?
That's right. That's a mind issue.
Mind issue.
All right, Dr. Burrell, bring it, bro. You on mute?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Perfect. I agree with everybody here. I think the thing is, my topic on Georgia is the same thing for the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh,
it's kind of like how Sealy said, what Sealy said in Color Purple, until you do right by me, everything you touch. That's why I ain't even mad about the Falcons. They turned their church down, and they ain't understand.
You tell the truth. You tell the truth.
UGA has not had a black starting quarterback since Quincy Carter.
Well, no, they had
since Shockley. And remember, Shockley had to split time a little bit. You have not had a black quarterback, or let me not say black quarterback. You have not had a mobile, athletic quarterback. We're not going to beat Bama. You know why? It's the same reason why Cincinnati wasn't able to. Riddler is a very overrated quarterback. He's the same as what we had at UGA. He can't do the deep ball, and he cannot elude pass rush. Like he said earlier, they didn't even lead their conference in rushing. You cannot when you're not Power 5. It's kind of like how Steph Curry shocked the world when he was at Davidson. You got to be a stud, like how where like everybody like, oh wait, this dude can play anywhere.
This guy can play anywhere. That's
Outside
right.
of the cornerback at Cincy, they didn't have that. Same thing happened. Like there's no reason. Like he said earlier, like Rev said, there's no reason why we should have been nervous about the Michigan game.
Right.
But like he said, I was scared. I thought that defensive end was gonna go. I didn't, because you just don't know which UGA is gonna show up. And the biggest reason I was scared was because of quarterback. And at the end of the day, the reason why Alabama, which I think we have a better chance of winning this time, because I think you learn from your mistakes. But the thing that you don't have, which is what Nick Saban did 5 years ago, you'll remember when he first started recruiting quarterbacks that could actually play. He stopped getting game managers. I don't know what Kirby has to do, but you can't bring out these Anthony Murray type quarterbacks and think that these guys who are going to be carrying a clipboard and becoming offensive coordinator and quarterback coaches can lead your team against great teams. We're seeing in college football and in the NFL, we're seeing a change of the guard. You remember at one point, you had to have great running backs. At one point, if you had a great defense, it didn't matter who your quarterback was. The Ravens won a Super Bowl. The Carolina Panthers went to the Super Bowl with Dale Holm when they had a great defense. It was a time where you could do that. San Francisco that year, everybody said Colin was great, but that defense was amazing that San Francisco had that year.
Yep.
Now it's the year of the quarterback. And so in college and in the pros, if you have a dominant quarterback, you got a chance. And at the end of the day, Georgia does not have that dominant quarterback. So the same way I was nervous against Michigan, I'm gonna be the same because we got the same two quarterbacks that can't get mobile. If a play break down, they are our Matt Ryan. It's the curse of Georgia teams. They love these immobile quarterbacks that can't do anything and needs everything to be perfect around them to be successful. I'm out. I'm off myself.
Well, I'll say this. Let me drop this. James, I see you buzzing over there. I'll say this. I will give Stetson this much credit. He's actually mobile. He actually can run.
You're right. He can.
He can run. He just can't run.
The thing that my issue is, I don't want to see Stetson in a quarterback shootout. That's the thing that scares me, because Bryce Young can shoot out all. Bryce Young is like, he's like what Curry will do if you challenge him. You want to shoot with me? I'm going to shoot your eyeballs out. I'm going to make all y'all mad. I'm going to throw it from the 2-yard line to the other 2-yard line. Yeah. And then I can run full speed and blast, go past your linebackers. So that's my only gripe. What to me is like what James said, it's that championship mentality. It's also it's two factors that, and I've been saying this since before the season started. So it wasn't an issue. It wasn't that I'm picking on Stetson. It was never that. It was, you got to have two things to beat Bama. That's the only thing I said in the beginning of the year. If anybody knows me, I started the year saying we gotta beat Bama. I ain't worried about the rest of the East and the West. I feel like we got enough to get there, but you got to go through Tuscaloosa. So my two things were, you got to have grade A coaching, grade A quarterback play. If you look at the past couple of national champions, from Trevor Lawrence to Deshaun Watson to Tua, it's always falling in that quarterback's hand. Because if you look at Georgia, Clemson, Bama, Ohio State, they recruit the same group of 5-star kids, and one to get him and the other one won't get him. But if he don't get him, he go grab that 5-star, or he go get that 4-star, or they know how to find that diamond in the rough, like a big Jordan Davis, who was a 3-star, coach him up. Now he's all world, coach up this kid. He's all world. They know how to do that. So after all of that, it comes to coaching and quarterback. So let's say your quarterback is good. Are you willing to do the stuff that Nick Saban will do?
That's it.
See, Georgia got an elephant in the room. It's called Tide. The elephant is Bama. Nick Saban does whatever mind boggle me why Kirby wouldn't do it. And I love Kirby. I'm a Georgia boy. I'm not against Kirby. But my thing to Kirby is, if you knew, and this is a question that's still yet to be answered, Saban has swapped quarterbacks on us twice
Mm-hmm.
and won a natty from it.
Yep.
What's our excuse?
Yep.
Because by all the claims, the games are similar.
Yeah.
When Tua came in, Jalen Hurts wasn't stinking it up bad,
No.
but they needed a spark. They had a defense, just like we had a defense. If people say, well, the defense failed us. Well, the defense failed us in the first half. If you look at the second half,
They
the
had
third
defense.
They did.
the defense held them and went, if I'm not mistaken, 4 times 3 and out, 3 and out,
Yep.
3 and out. The problem was your quarterback went into a slump. Your quarterback had pick 6. Mind you, Alabama got the ball back at the top of the third quarter. So now you already were down by 14 at the half, if I'm not mistaken, or 17. Might have been 17 or whatever. It's 2 scores.
Yeah.
You were down. So my question is, if you knew that, and this is my thing when I say it comes to quarterback coaching and quarterback, and people say, "How dare you talk?" I've been online. I got a message. Let's see who's getting at me. Oh, Jameed Billingsley said he almost had 3 pick 6. He actually almost had 2 pick 6.
That's my brother.
Dude dropped. The linebacker dropped it in the SEC championship, and all he had was green grass in front of him. So let me keep moving. So my thing was, if you saw this, what was your reason for not bringing somebody in the second half? Because I don't understand. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you had nothing to lose. Because at that point in the third
still
quarter,
going. Exactly. He's still going to play.
You've fallen now by 17 points. You have nothing to lose. You can try to get a spark. Why didn't you bring somebody in? So let's just say to squash all the JT stuff, he's not mentally ready. He did have a mental illness, because that was the rumors and stuff, was that he was suffering from mental illness. He had this going on. Let's say he had all that stuff going on. Why you ain't got, tell me why you don't have Brock, Reddy, Beck, another 5-star. Beck, Mr. Florida football. Brock, Mr. Georgia football. Quarterbacks, ready. This is when I say it takes a QB and a coach to beat Bama, because Nick will do the stuff that other folks won't do. Nick is in that echelon. It ain't nothing but him and Belichick.
That's it.
Yeah.
Them two. They are at the top of the heap. Everybody else is looking up. So this is why when I tell people it takes coaching and quarterback to beat Bama, because this man has shown us Georgia has not beaten Bama since 2007.
But see,
it's not even a rivalry.
It's not even a rivalry anymore. He's telling the truth. It's really not a rivalry. But one thing I look at to give a little insight on that, the players take on the personality of the coach.
That's right.
Nick Saban is a thinker out of the box.
Yes, he is.
You look at his quarterbacks, they the same way. See, Young is thinking outside the box. He sees all the routes. He knows all the plays. He knows that playbook like the back of his hand. He knows it. But when the play breaks down and it's time to make something really happen, he takes it to the next level. You like, man, where did he get that from? How did he come up with that? Perfect example to kind of put a foundation to what I'm saying here. Look at Dak and Murray this past weekend in the football game between Dallas and the Cardinals. They talked about Murray all week for the last week or whatever. Little midget, he ain't going to do this, he ain't going to do that. It's one thing to be elusive, but it's another thing to be elusive and creative and still be able to stay behind the line of scrimmage and make plays.
Exactly. And that's what I meant when I said,
to get to where you want to be at and get the defense to come to you. And when they make that decision to come to you, then you make your move and you see your man and you don't throw the interception. See, that's what happened with Bennett. That when he would try to roll out with some if you ain't careful, that could be an interception.
That's what I meant. Stetson is not that kind. Like he got wheels, but he cannot elude defenders and still make an athletic play. That's what I mean. So that's exactly it.
That pitch that Bryson made, like he was that pitch. Yeah, that. Like you said, like how did he see that? You know, he's scrambling, he moving, and he pitches it. It's creative, like you said, creative thinking out of the box, and it is a coach and a mindset. And we have, if not now, then when? We have to change the mindset in the coach. Yeah. If not now, then when? This is our opportunity.
he's gonna have to be on the red seat before he actually changes that. I think he's gonna literally have to be on the hot seat. They're gonna have to say, "Hey, bro, you gonna have to get it in." But I think you have to also remember the kind of boosters that you got at UGA. And this is the boy from Atlanta, from that deep south. I mean, you know what kind of boosters they have. So I don't. It's one of those tricky situations. So
are they worse than Alabama boosters though? But I mean, I guess Saban has a winning type of culture. So no matter who they are,
It's coaching.
what they are, just
It goes back to coaching. It goes back to coaching because see the boosters, we know the. Oh, I'm trying to be good. We know the culture that has been for the deep south. We get it. We get it. But I think if it wants to happen, because next year, this is the truth. So y'all got me opening stuff up because everything is coming out now. My mind. Brock was rated the #1 dual threat.
Yeah.
Brock, he's a dual threat. He's there now. Brock can roll. I'm talking like what's the boy that went to LSU, the quarterback? The one that's
Jamarcus Russell?
No, the one that just won.
Burrow.
Brock can roll like Burrow.
Yeah,
he's
6'4",
6'4". He can roll. I'm talking and throw the ball and get it wherever he want on the field. He can do all of that. So I think that that's where the mobile will be there. I'm just trying to figure out why my coach was not prepared for change when we needed change. This is just what my thoughts were, because I told everybody, all my Florida Gator friends, "Oh, you got the dumbest coach." You know, I said, "Hold up, man. I think my dude done got it together." Because the history of our coaches, you don't handle quarterbacks well. You screwed up with Fields, buddy. You completely murked the water, just jacked it all up. So
Eason.
That was Eason.
You were Eason's career.
Saying, "No, bro, don't put Fromm out there. Don't let him play."
Right.
You got Eason. And twice you've broken the rule that I thought that was in college football or more amongst coaches. You can't lose your job to injury. Twice you've done that. So with Eason was all world, 6'5" from the West Coast, could throw it all over the place. But you let this other dude come in and get the job. So, however, thank you. This dude, Jamil, you own it, bro. You taking my words out of my mouth. Let me see. I agree that Bryce is coming back. I'm gonna get him out, get some of his questions out because he's on with us. This was my next thing. You got Caleb Williams. The rumor is swirling that Caleb Williams from Oklahoma, who replaced Spencer Rattler, is trying to come to Georgia.
He just entered the transfer portal, didn't he? Who entered the transfer portal?
QB.
No, that's the QB. That's
QB
sorry.
QB. It's all over the place.
He just entered.
My thing is, do we want this controversy?
No.
Do we want it? Because
I think you let Brock go ahead and you had him red shirt this year. Let Brock start next year. I think the thing with Kirby is that he thought that defense was going to be great, which they were. He thought the defense was going to be able to carry him. Remember that year LSU and Alabama? That year Alabama, he was. I think he was still the. I don't even think he was the DC yet at Alabama. It was the year he was like a cornerbacks coach, and that defense didn't have any offense, and they carried him. And I think sometimes he still has that mindset in the back of his head, like, man, my defense can do this. If I just have steady, a consistent game manager, he has to get a quarterback coach that can develop these quarterbacks, give them the confidence they need, and trust them, and not have them scared to think if I mess up, because what's going to happen next is quarterbacks are not going to come to Georgia, and you're going to be looking like LSU where you're struggling to find a quarterback because they're going to start saying, wait, man, he's not building these guys. He ended up using the lesser over us, and it happens. That kind of talk happens. Parents talk. Rev will tell you. He not going to tell his son to go to Georgia Southern. He know the coach running a spread off a pound and run, and his son ain't playing quarterback. It's not going to happen.
Triple option. He ain't going.
But see, because the thing is, I mean, the one thing about it, I mean, you really don't want to have to say anything about. Like I said, I love Georgia, but if I'm an elite wide receiver, I'm not. I'm going somewhere where they throwing the ball, where they got a quarterback that's an elite quarterback that's going to get me the ball. The offense and everything is going to be set up for that. I'm not coming to a place where, you know, they keep throwing to the tight end every game. You know, I can't do. We dump it down to the running back. You know, 90%, 80% of the passes are going to the tight end. If I'm a tight end, I'm loving Georgia. But if I'm a wide receiver, if I'm a slot receiver, if I'm, you know, I'm out on the flank, I can't see that. I mean, that's got to be a tough decision. And when you got other teams who are, you know, it's like Pickett that's there. I mean, how many passes did he get in the game?
I can't understand that to save my life.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Why? Why?
I can't be
why
there.
Boy got one pass?
So, I mean, if he's over here pushing down this kid like this little man, who gonna stop him? That did you see them corners over there? I mean, I'm really looking at some of these teams and everything, and their secondary, and I'm like, man, that's some small secondaries when you start going outside of the SEC.
Right.
When you start looking at some of these other teams, looking at, man, that secondary doesn't stand a chance.
5'8", 5'9".
I said, man, they not going to stop these guys. That's why y'all can't beat us, because between that and those linebackers and everything, y'all and your line, they're just too small. They're too small. I said, you cannot compete with that. If I got this guy over here, he's standing 6'3", 6'4", and he's being guarded by somebody that's 5'9", why am I not killing that? You know, they won. I could say it's all about, for at the end of the day with them, the W, you know, it's the W. They won. Great. If you can win and beat Bama with that, great. I mean, I'm all for Georgia with that, but I'm just saying, being just looking at from a different view. If you are one of these type of players and you trying to get to a school, then, you know, that's going to really help you get to the next level, and that's to play on Sundays. Then do you go to a school that's having so many quarterback issues and different things and all of that, you know?
Burrell said it. Burrell said something that was real pivotal. If you're not careful, you can become like LSU, where you can't get a quarterback, and you need a legitimate QB coach. I can't even remember who is Georgia's QB coach. Is it Monken or is it somebody else? Or he's just the OC. So then this is the other thing. I wonder, are they gonna try to snatch in Bobo to be QB coach? Because he's a good QB coach. He did develop Aaron. He had his hands on Stafford. They turned out to be nice QBs, good QBs. Stafford's still in the league, balling, doing his thing now with the Rams. And if you're not careful, do we turn into Stanford University, who was tight end university for about 7 years in a row? They was pumping out tight ends left and right, tight end, but they had no outside game. And all that quarterback did was drop back and hit them tight ends going up the middle field. Did Andrew Luck come from Stafford?
Yes.
So I don't even remember his quarterbacks, but I do remember his tight ends. He had a massive. He had Levine Tololo, who got signed with the Falcons. He was a big tight end that came out of Stanford. They had about 3 or 4 of them that got signed in the league. So, you know, again, it makes you wonder, you know, was these results to be expected? I will say this for the coach now, and listen, we're a show. We're looking at all facets of the game and perspectives. Cincinnati's D line were the size of Bama's linebackers. I'd have leaned on them too for 200 plus yards on one running back.
I mean, they did what they were supposed to do to win.
Exactly.
They played the game as the game was played before them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about beating somebody on the level that Alabama is on, that's going to be a totally different game. Because if you notice, Georgia defensive line could get in on everybody like they wanted to all season on anybody else's offensive line, but they couldn't do that with Alabama.
I think that was psychological.
And then the other thing is he was only rushing so many people that set that he was in. The defensive set that he was in. And then when they changed it in the second half, they got in more often. But still, that line that Bama got is a line. I mean, those big guys.
Big boy. Yeah.
Last thing before we shift off is what Burrell said. The strength of, and this is where the coaching, and I understand it and I respect it. So, and again, we're looking at it. It was a sports talk show. We can talk about whatever we want. Bama knew the strength of Cincinnati was them cornerbacks. You didn't have Meacham, he gone for the year. You got Williams, and you got a bunch of other dudes that are probably 5 stars that's waiting their turn. They're rising up to become who they need to be. So Saban was like, they little. We ain't gonna get them cornerbacks an opportunity to try to get a pick, to do anything. We about to lean on them for 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did. So let's keep going. All right, guys, we're shifting gears again. This is pivotal. I like this. I like this here. ESPN KIRK HERBSTREIT on players opting out of bowl games. He says, I think this era of players just doesn't love football. All right. I'm going in. I'm jumping in deep. Come on, Burrell, bring it, bro.
KIRK HERBSTREIT is the same young man who, when Baker Mayfield flicked off the fans, said he's passionate. And when the same black quarterback at Tennessee did it, he said he's a thug.
Hypocrisy.
KIRK HERBSTREIT was a quarterback in Ohio State under, of course, legendary coach. And I mean, I think that there's a certain privilege that these people have, but you see a quarterback like Matt Corral, who, thank God, is not serious,
right?
But could have ended his career. And then, are you saying this to the coaches who have to leave? I mean, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, both had to have different alternative coaches because their coaches were gone. And y'all don't say that, y'all don't give them that same energy. So I don't even put any onus into that. I think that these players have too much to play for. If you're a senior, you're a junior, and you still trying to make it, then yeah, you're gonna play. But if you are a star player and you already know that your first round slot is solidified, it's no way I would play in a bowl game. No way. And especially if it's not the national championship, I'm definitely not playing. No.
All right, Big KF, bring it, bro.
I agree. I had a friend of mine played at Virginia Tech against Florida State in the national championship. DV,
Vic?
I think he went second round.
Vic?
What's that?
Against Vic?
Yeah. Well, he was with Vic. He was on Virginia Tech. Wow. He went second round to Seattle.
Okay.
I think he hurt his ankle or his calf or something in the third quarter. He waved him off. We didn't have this conversation, but I know him. He knew he was getting drafted. He was not going to risk injuring himself, even though that's the biggest stage and the biggest game of the season, to blow his future for his family and himself financially, just playing the game when he knew he was going to the league. So I understand why these guys opt out. It's a business decision. Just like these coaches leave. My man left Notre Dame. The other guy, I forget the other coach. Gosh, his name escaped me. But these guys leave at the end of the season because it's a business decision.
Lincoln Riley.
If I'm going in the third round, Doc, I might not play depending on what bowl it is. And that's just me.
Third round, buddy.
Listen, third round, I got some guaranteed money. I'm going to be on that roster. I might not play. That's just me. And I'm not, I think in some regards, the transfer portal may highlight that these kids don't love the game as much because they can just jump in and leave when they want to. But for these guys who's been on these teams and been in these schools 3 and 4 years, and they know they're going to the league and they don't want to play in the bowl for the same reason we saw Ole Miss quarterback get hurt, I don't blame them. I'll do the same thing.
Big James, talk to us, bro. Unmute yourself, Reverend.
Stop it.
Still muted. There you go.
Yeah, I hit it and it went back on for some reason. I don't know what's going on with this computer. Loose he'll say them. But I mean, when you got a different kind of background, I mean, you got trust funds, your family is well off, generation of wealth is in your family.
It hit different.
You got all of this going. If this doesn't happen, y'all still good. But you got to take into consideration where these kids come from. And until you walk that path and know all the time and all the money and all the favors that had to be asked, and all the assistance as a tribe to try to get that child to the league, so that it's going to change, not just, you know, saying my son plays in the NFL. No, this changes the next generation to the next generation if we do what we're supposed to do with the finances that come in.
Absolutely.
So you want me to put all of that on the table to the McDonald Bowl?
No.
No,
No.
we ain't doing it.
No.
We ain't doing this. I mean, they have, look at how many bowl games these people have made up.
Yes.
And
I
making
mean,
a killing off
this
of
stuff don't even make sense. I mean, what kind of who bowl? I mean, come on. I mean, the Chevrolet Tide Bowl or something. Come on, man. This is crazy, man. I'm like, okay, y'all just trying to make money.
That's it. That's it.
So
That's it.
you're making business decisions to create all these bowls, but then the player makes a business decision not to play in the bowl so he can make money for himself. The manipulation of people and the manipulation of mindsets, and this ain't nothing but to me, it's almost to the point. I mean, it's a satanic kind of thing to me almost, because it's anytime you manipulate people, that's called witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if we really want to get into that, you know, if you get into that part of it, manipulation of individuals or to charm someone or to trick someone, that's witchcraft. So it's to a point that it's like it's, you know, some mystical thing they want to put over these kids and mindset. You are not a real ball player if you make this decision. You don't love the game. How you go? They've been tricking people with that for so long. It's right. Like I said, it's a mental mindset where you can't make a business decision. If you make a business decision, then you're not all team.
You're I.
It's all about you.
That's
like,
what it's.
We just had this discussion today on Twitter with another gentleman I was talking to, and he was talking about scholarships and championships. What is the goal for the high school player? The real goal is for him to get the scholarship. The championship is icing on the cake. If we get the championship, and they kind of work together too, because if we get championships, a lot of times more scholarships are available because we're playing longer and more coaches are seeing those individuals, so they get more exposure. But at the same time, if I concentrate on individuals and build people, then the team will build itself. But if I concentrate on just championships, I lose people along the way. And I lose the opportunity to really change lives and really do what we're supposed to be doing. I say, what is your focal point? What is your focal point for the bowl games? Is it really about games? No.
About that money.
It's about them dollars. The love of money is the root of all evil. It's the root of it. I mean, it's the dead root of it, because that's that bottom line. They are not selling tickets, and these things are not. We're not selling out these stadiums because these players are saying they're not coming and they're not going to play. So now we're losing money. We've created these bowls, and we made these investments, and we were supposed to make so much money off of it. Now we're not making the money off of it like we should be making the money.
And now we saying it. Yep.
And see, Kurt, you don't know nothing about some buying of sausages, and Kurt, you don't know nothing about, you know, just
romaine noodles. You don't know about
cheese. You don't know nothing about that. When these kids
don't know about that canned cheese,
stuff, and you gonna throw all that away for tomato. Man, get out of here! I mean, but
man, sit down. That's what you want to
sit down somewhere.
Sit down.
Come on, man.
I mean, whatever. Period. At the end of the day, you can't say someone doesn't love something because they choose to make a choice for themselves and their family and generations after them. I mean, right? That's, for me, hearing that, that's a little racist, from what I'm feeling, because it's like, listen, we know it's a business at the end of the day, and now the players are taking back their power. They're saying, listen, you've had your power long enough, and now we're taking it back. We can choose to decide where we play, when we play. And it doesn't mean I don't love the game, but now I have power to make that the choice and decision. And you don't like that. And because you don't like that, now you're making these statements. And like you said, you're trying to make your money back. And so now players are saying, no, we're not playing these bowls. For what? A McDonald's trophy for what? Like, I'm trying to understand, what are we getting out of that? They're getting nothing.
Big Macs.
Right. Right. You know, like, no, we're not doing that for our future. No, the bowl game is not worth it. You saw enough of us in the regular season. If you didn't, oh well, we know what our future is, and that's what we're gonna do. So I say kudos to these players. Continue to take your power back. Continue to make sure you're investing in you and your family, making the best decision possible. Because at the end of the day, Kirk ain't paying none of your bills. He ain't give you no food, he's not buying you no clothes, and he don't care nothing about you because he only cares about his bottom line. Continue to take care of your family. That's what I say. So good job, players, and play when it matters most. Like you said, if you know you're not going to the game, you know you're not going to the draft, then definitely you want to make sure you put yourself in a position where people can see. Other than that, it's not worth it. It's not.
All right. Well, it looks like somebody has joined us here. Let me see. Someone's called in. Who do we have? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Who do we have on the line
Can you
here?
hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hey, Tony, this is Jonathan. How you doing?
I'm good. I think you have
Great show is great. I'm listening to it. I've been listening to the whole time. Y'all got a phenomenal platform.
mute your background. We got a little echo going there, my man. Mute your background, sir.
It's actually muted. Oh, come on, man. Let me get off the show then.
Or just turn down your show. Did he hang up?
All right,
Hello?
what about now?
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Go ahead. Sir.
Good.
Yep.
All right, so I mean, Tony, your show is phenomenal. Y'all got great feedback and great insight. I do have one caveat. I'm gonna throw a caveat for some of you all, and I'm gonna piggyback on one question, and we're gonna go back to the beginning. Do you think AB really done for the season due to the fact that the new virus is out, where people or players are not able to participate in games or suspended for games or laid out for games? Do you think AB would not get another chance this season? Let me ask that question first.
Who wants to take that topic?
I'll start. Kaepernick is in good health condition. Kaepernick can make every throw. He can make every read. And I'll put him against 18 starting quarterbacks in the NFL right now. He will never see the NFL again. Unfortunately, back to what I said initially, I don't mean to cut you off, but what I was saying initially, no employer is going to allow you to embarrass them the way he did on national television. If you did it in behind the scenes and the story never gets out or it happens in the off season, we'll deal with that. But in the middle of the game, you take your uniform off and throw it and peace out and cartwheels and jumping jacks and nah. The entire league can get the COVID doc and they'll just postpone it to March and play the playoffs.
Boy, you crazy.
I get that. I understand that. But Kaepernick never dealt with the virus or pandemic that we're dealing with. So that being said, and we are forgiving culture and forgiving world.
Truth.
I still think, and you know, the talent, as you said, y'all said this already. Talent speaks over idiosyncrasies or our issues, and they'll choose talent and deal with talent to get what they want, which is that championship trophy. AD still has talent. AB still can contribute. AB did make a humongous mistake and had a mental meltdown in front of a national audience.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, he still can provide a championship caliber receiver for some team like LA, like the Patriots, like other teams that potentially have this trophy. So he still may have potential to play again. Now, that being said, I do agree. This is his last year in the NFL. He's done.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, James. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One of the people or one of the persons that helped get him back in the league, who spoke up for him, he was out on Twitter today, and Dion was saying, "Tell me now, I didn't see
this time."
Hold on one
So he
second.
said, who do y'all think will win the Georgia-Alabama game this time?
Oh, but let me finish up what I was saying basically though. But like I said, Dion came on today on Twitter and he was like, I can't believe, tell me I didn't see what I think I just saw when he saw that happening with AB. these were some of the people that were speaking up for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now he may have lost his support group now. That's another piece that is really probably has shut the door for him. And it, and this may be the end for him. Now I can say he might come back a year from now. But this year, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Before we answer that question about the Georgia-Alabama rematch, if you will, a lot of guys love T.O., but when the league was done with him, they didn't speak up for him. Now they talk about him on I Am Athlete, Twitter, interviews. You're a great athlete, no locker room problems, blah, blah, this, that, and the third. But when they say we're done with you, buddy, they were done. And I think for AB, maybe next year, hey, I wish him the best, but I don't want that joke on my team, man.
Yeah, Ryan Clark. Oh, go ahead.
It is a business. And so you have to understand the NFL is not like college. It is a business. And when these owners are disrespected and these owners see that you're not for their organization, that shows them he's not a team player. He doesn't respect any organization. And this is not his first rodeo. So if it's his first time, then people say, okay, you know what? Maybe he was just having a situation. We can bring him back. We can work with them. But this is not his first rodeo. And so since it's not his first time, this is a behavior or pattern we continue to see. And the way it happened and how it happened and disregard for everything and how you have players and coaches telling, come on, man, don't do that. And he said, forget y'all. I don't see it happening because people can only take so much. And he's really, like you said, crossed the line the last time. So I don't see it happening for him coming back again. Like I heard a lot of his fans today, even supporters, they don't see it happening either as well, because this has truly been the last straw. He had a whole nother quarter to play, I believe. It was pretty bad.
That boy retired in the third quarter.
Yeah. Oh, that's it, the third quarter.
Yeah. Okay, the Georgia question. What we got?
You already know where I stand. I'm gonna ride or die with my team until I just ride or die on my team. I'm doing some fasting this week though. I'm doing some fasting.
All right.
Praying because we need all the help we can get. Let's go. Eat, dog, eat.
I think the bigger question is, do you trust Kirby to make adjustments when it's time to make adjustments?
I don't.
And if you don't,
that's it. That's the question.
And if you don't allow your emotions to say, go dogs, we're going to beat them this time, this, that, and the third. Because see, talent-wise,
we got it.
Talent-wise, Georgia has had, if not equal to, better production as far as guys getting drafted to the pros than Alabama, man for man, year to year. But when it came down to Georgia playing Alabama in the game, it was adjustments that were not made. And I don't trust Kirby to make those adjustments. Defensively, he did in the SEC championship in the second half, right?
Yeah.
But offensively, he didn't, and you needed points to win that ball game.
Yeah.
I think that's the better question. Do you trust Kirby to make those adjustments in the national championship game?
I don't like Kevin.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
All right, my man, you got another question? Go ahead.
So let me ask a question. So I do agree with him, but I think Kirby will make the adjustment this time. If we all seen the movie Creed 2, and Creed 2, if you watch the movie, I forgot the boxer's name, the older gentleman that Rocky IV. He played Rocky IV. He's saying that he should have thrown in the towel, but Rocky never threw in the towel to save his best friend, Creed. But in the Creed 2, you seen the reverse happen. His son was getting beat down. His son was about to lose a fight. He seen that his son was about to just be humiliated, so he threw in the towel. I think this time Kirby gonna throw in JT Daniels, and we're gonna win, and we're gonna be successful because he has all the weapons. He has everything he needs to be victorious.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, can we put pressure on Bryce Young?
That's true.
The quarterback. Can we put adequate pressure on Bryce Young? Because he had all day to throw. He had 2 years and a Christmas to throw the ball.
You right, sir.
You put pressure on him, you can win without him making an adjustment on the offensive side of football.
Yeah. And that's true, because if you look what Auburn did, some of the other teams, Texas, right, when they played them, if you put enough pressure on Young, and that was shown in the second half, if you can do that for the length of the game, and that's the other thing, though.
Right.
If they go to that quick offense where you cannot substitute players, like you want to. And if Alabama can keep you going with that, which they were doing that to Georgia in the first half, but then Georgia, did some things to slow it down. You got to be smart. You got to think outside the box and everything. I don't care if a player got to lay on the ground, whatever. We can stop this. I mean, I got a cramp. Okay, all right, man. Get the players on the field. I don't care. We trying to win. We want to win. So we got to stop this. We can't have this man over here breathing hard. He can't even get to the line good. No. We got to stop. It's got to be strategically set up and planned, because they're gonna do that. They're gonna run that offense like that because they don't want you to be able to do your position changes and everything and put this person in and They want you to get tired, and that's what happened to us in the first half. Second half, we figured it out a little bit more. We put more people on the line. We got more pressure. If we can do that, we still might be able to win without. I think we still could win the game without even having to change Bennett out if you get enough pressure on Young. But if you can't get that pressure on Young, and then the thing is, I don't even know if the boys played his best game yet. That's the other thing.
Good point.
Don't know yet. Because, he went – they play to the talent that comes before them.
Yep.
You watch Alabama. Alabama don't look like a superstar. They look like a good team, a real good team when they play those other teams. But when they play Georgia, man, they look like Superman on steroids or something. I'm like, what the world? They weren't doing all of that last week. He wasn't throwing like that. He wasn't doing how did he get that good? All of a sudden, it's like they just put on the cape or something, and they come out and they like, man, they just come out here all world. So you got to be prepared for that. Georgia got to be prepared for that, and we got to be able to do some of the same. I do like some of the stuff that Georgia did in the last game. They came up with some creative plays and everything to get some easy scores. And they have the talent to do that. They got all kind of talent all over the field to pull all kind of different plays and put different people in situations. You see where they halfback pass. Man, that man hit the man dead on the numbers. You got running backs at Georgia that used to play quarterback and different things, but they can throw the ball or whatever. So, not saying that was a position, but they come up and they could make decent throws. All of that is possible because of the athletic ability that the players they have. But you got to put those type of plays in the game. Sometimes when you don't have any kind of offense, you got to come up with something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right. I think that's a big thing. I think that Georgia has a great chance to close this thing out, to be productive and win. Again, it just comes down. Let's say, do all your Hail Mary full of grace, Sharon.
That's it. I'm Catholic. I'm whatever. I got to meditate. Whatever I got to do.
All right. But I think we can pull this thing off, and as Jonathan said, the caller, if we get enough pressure on him, we ain't got to worry about this adjustment, because it's going to drive him crazy, and he's going to nut up. And again, this goes back to what James was saying. It's mental. They rise up. For us, they know they play to the level of competition, because if you just look at their season, you'd be like, we destroyed the team that just gave them fits. What is wrong? So it puts you in a headspace. You're looking crazy. You're looking at the game crazy and all that. We get ready to call it quits, guys, because time is past us. We went over by look like 13 minutes. But this is the last one. This is for you, Burrell, since you sort of hit it earlier. The Falcons are falconing again. What is the problem?
I don't think there's a problem. I think that we don't understand what a rebuild is in Atlanta, and the bad draft picks. Not only the bad draft picks that this new regime made in this draft, but also the mess that Dimitrov left us in. So it's like, I'm by no means a Matt Ryan hater. I think Matt Ryan's good. I think he's one of those people who has to have all the pieces around him, has to be perfect for him to succeed. I think that's fine. But the biggest thing about it is, at the end of the day, Matt Ryan, and this is gonna sound crazy. It's gonna kind of contradict me. Matt Ryan is too good for us to be this bad. Like, the games that we've won is because of Matt Ryan. It is. So if you want this to be a total rebuild, I think what the Falcons wanted to do, they really wanted Trey Lance. Everybody in the league knew it. San Francisco got wind of it. and they said we're gonna get this pick so they can't get Trey Lance, and it shifted everything they wanted to do. I really do believe that they thought, hey, we're gonna rebuild, we're gonna get Trey Lance, we're gonna because it was reports during the time that they saw Trey Lance 3 or 4 times. That they had met with this dude and went to North Dakota, brought him to Atlanta. Like it was a real big chance that they were gonna get him. I think once they saw San Francisco was gonna get him, they had to reshuffle the whole deck. So it's hard to tank when you have a quarterback that is as serviceable as Matt Ryan. Like Matt Ryan is an Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco, who came out the same draft as him. He's better than them, but he's also not Aaron Rodgers. Like he's not gonna will you to win every week, but he's better than the lower half of the league, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Let me say this, and I'll go my turn and I'll get out of the way again. Matt Ryan is an enigma because just as much productivity you get out of him, you get head scratching stuff out of him the same at the same time that I had you like, what? Hey, what was it? The food? Was it the pregame meal? What did you eat that caused you to do this to us and make us go bananas? So I'm like, either somebody said it might have been Kevin. My emotions are out of the Falcons. I just refuse to get DDT'd every Sunday by them, and I see it coming. I'm not finna do it. So I'm just like, if y'all win, okay. If you lose, I expected it. I refuse to go crazy. Like I go crazy with Georgia. I'm not giving Atlanta that energy.
No.
Now, when I see things clean up, and y'all go ahead and you're gonna have to let Matt Ryan go, which I don't think is happening because I done fell into this conspiracy thing with everybody else. A lot of folks out there. He might be married to Arthur Blank's granddaughter or something. That's what I believe. That's why the only reason he's still here.
Man.
And then on top
Love
of
him
that,
from a distance.
man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what I believe. I believe even after this year, they still might re-sign him. The Falcons are that crazy to me. So I don't know. I don't know. And
I mean, if it's no quarterbacks, I think the thing is, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna be real quick on this part because I agree with just to piggyback off what you're saying. I think the thing is, if you get rid of Matt Ryan, then what? Like, unless you draft a quarterback like you would have drafted, there's literally nothing else out there. And I think that's the thing, because you'd be in the danger of being the Cleveland Browns and the Miami Dolphins, and you ain't had no quarterback since Dan Marino. Not saying he's Dan Marino, of course, but you get really stuck and you don't find
years of no quarterback.
Yeah, so yeah.
Go ahead.
This is the Falcons, but okay.
Yeah.
I think it starts up top.
Oh, yeah.
Arthur Blank is a businessman, not a football guy. Okay. So I don't understand why you had Dimitroff and McKay seem like they was the same position, but McKay made some decisions. Then Dimitroff made some decisions, and then you got bad draft picks on the defensive side of football and 2 bad O-linemen in 1 draft, and you keep Matt Ryan. He's not the problem, but he is the problem, and he needed everything to make it work. He had everything. It didn't work. I quit. I say that to say this, okay? I know you won't bring Deshaun Watson in for obvious reasons, and he'll be available. And there's Russell Wilson out there as well. But I wouldn't want Russell to come here with that O-line they got. I want Russell to come here with the type of draft picks they've made in the past. I mean, we got to give this new guy a chance, but Arthur Blank is about making money. And that soccer team made Arthur Blank a lot of money, okay? So Matt Ryan is a safe bet. Whether there's a quarterback available or not, he'll still be here. And I ain't saying it's all Matt Ryan's fault, but Arthur Blank's not a football guy.
Yep.
So it's hard to keep your emotions in when you know the guy at the top is not a football guy. These decisions are not football related. They are dollars and cents, ticket sales, and cable network decisions. And that's it. That's my 2 cents. Falcons keep on Falcons. That's just what they do.
Well, now, if we're gonna go with money, though, now you remember back when Michael Vick was playing.
Yep.
Now we didn't win it all.
No.
We went, got to the playoffs that 1 year. I think it was
a money. Woo.
But that stadium,
jam packed.
What?
Right,
folks, man. But that place was bananas up in there. I mean, it was. You talking about live up in there?
Electric.
I went to the game this past week, was it the Detroit game? Went to the Detroit game. Man, they might as well have called Greg Levitt and told him to roll the hearse up in there and bring all the pallbearers and all the flower bearers, all them folks. Get the flower bearers, get everybody, because it was dead in there. I mean, I said, man, this crazy.
But listen,
this atmosphere it don't even feel right. I was telling my wife, I said, we were cool being there. I was glad to be there. I had been. This is my first time even going to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium because I don't go to Falcon games. But I went to that one just to get some time and everything, spend some time with the wife, anniversary and all that. We just having a good time, just chilling.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah,
happy anniversary.
Appreciate it. So we was just out, doing that. But when it's like when you go in the stadium, they're on the edge of their seat, like, ooh, we gonna lose. The mindset is in there. If something good happens, man, he ran 2 yards.
That's it. That's what he's supposed to do.
I mean, but and then Matt Ryan looks so slow. I've been to, I went to the Georgia games, man. Georgia game looked like it's running 100 miles an hour. You come to that Atlanta Falcon game and Detroit game, man, it looked like two old beat up teams out there that they're not going to do anything and make a difference in either one of their leagues or whatever. So they're not going anywhere. It's Matt Ryan tried to run one time, and I was like, man, I thought those kids in high school was slow on some of them, but man, he can't run at all. It's time to make a change in that. But the culture and everything has to change. But if you bring somebody like Russell Wilson to that team, you're going to change the atmosphere. You may not, I'm not saying they're going to win because that offensive line got to be better, but his wife and him and his family coming to Atlanta, man, it might get hyped back up in there again. You never know what can happen when you got a crowd like that pushing you and that city pushing you like that. Really look at it. And when you look at it, the Falcons just be falconing. That's just what it is. It doesn't matter how far we get. We got all the way to the Super Bowl. We winning for 3 quarters. What happened? They start falconing again. It's just what it is. But that part there. But as far as the money part of it, though, and building, a fan base, we know how to do that. But you just got to get the right quarterback and the right people in there to make that happen. They've done it before. But now you got this situation where it's just, like I said, it's just dead in there.
Kevin, I had to go with you. See, Tommy helped me not to burn my jerseys this year, right? Because I set them on fire and recorded. Okay, that's why I was this year. And Tommy, he talked me down from it, him and my family. My father and us are season ticket holders for years and years. Decades, right? Not this year. No, we're not doing that again. We stopped going to the game when the Falcons played Tennessee Titans, and Matt Ryan thought he was a running back and thought he was going to run that ball. On us, like, I didn't know what he was thinking. Nobody else did. It emptied out the stadium. When he did that, everybody got up and walked out. And it's like, we're not buying another ticket again. Again, like you said, our owner is not a football guy. So these draft picks and these decisions that have been made, it's evident and apparent we don't want to win. We don't even know what the culture of winning is for the team, right? What is the culture? What are we identifying ourselves as Falcons? Are we going to be an offensive team? Are we going to be like, what are we doing? We don't even know that. Why? Because upper management don't know that. And so now we're stuck in a situation where we have no money, we have no O-line, no D-line, and then we have now no fans in the stadium. So what you expect us to do?
And you right there, so it wasn't how to nobody else.
We're gonna do what you expect us to do, what you put us in. We're gonna be Falcons.
I know we gotta go.
And it's sad because I love my team, but I will watch them. I haven't watched them this season. If they win, like Tommy said, happy for them. They're not. I expect it. That's just what it is.
This is the honest thing. I know we gotta go. I'm gonna do this in 2 minutes. This is the honest truth. This is a myth that you need a great offensive line to be great. Now, you can't have a Giants offensive line, but Joe Burrows has the same offensive line for last year, and he's dominating. Aaron Rodgers has had 5 different starting offensive lines this year and still balling. Herbert had the worst offensive line last year. They made one draft pick selection and an offseason selection, and they're a top 5 offensive line. They didn't make no changes. You cannot. And this is not on you. This is something that Atlanta fans saying it irritates me. This is a lazy narrative when I hear people say, "Oh, the offensive line is trash." When in the middle of the year they were actually doing good. But if your quarterback is holding the ball like he a rookie, how long can he ain't hold the ball? I'm not saying our offensive line is great. But if you have somebody who can release the ball in 2.9 seconds, Brady is just as slow as Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
If you see him run on a couple of these runs, he's just as slow.
That's true.
But his mindset is different. Running for him, is this going to be an open lane and everybody 20 yards because they know he's going to throw it deep? The problem with Matt Ryan's slowness is they know he's not throwing it anywhere. So they know they can stack the box. That's why it was stupid when I heard fans say, "Oh, we don't need no running back in this draft because we're going to have a tight end." But Matt Ryan, there's no coincidence that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones have the same problem. They can't get touchdowns in the red zone. It has to be the quarterback. There's no way your tight end has 1,000 yards, beat Mike Dicker's record, and he only got 1 touchdown. Julio Jones for years, 2, 3 touchdowns, and we blamed them for years. At what point do we say that it's Matt Ryan, it's time to move on? Because at the end of the day, we're going to end up looking like the Steelers. Because tonight is your boy's last game, and I'm out.
You are 1,000% correct, sir. And the common denominator with the Falcons is always pointing back at number 2, and people don't want to admit that. And I heard this guy. You know, I got my little transportation company. One of my private clients is telling me. He says the issue with the Falcons is this. He says when you think about a team, there's somebody over there that you got the game plan for. He says when you think about Green Bay, who you think you got the game plan for? Come on, y'all tell me.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. When you think about Tennessee Titans before the injury, who you game plan for?
Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
When you think about the Falcons, you ain't game planning for nobody.
Nope.
This dude does not effect change and cause the other team to have to make adjustments. That's not him. You think about that with Russell. You think about that with Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. These are key pivotal positions. Tom Brady, as old as he is, you game plan for him. I heard Joey Bosa and somebody else. What's the boy that was at the Texans that's now with the with the
Hopkins.
No, the DN.
Oh, Watts.
Wyatt or Watts?
JJ
Watts. JJ Watts told him, "I'm tired. I can't get to you fast enough. You can't run, but you're getting rid of the ball so fast. If I hit you, I'm gonna get a penalty because the ball is gone by the time I get back there."
Yeah.
Bosa said the same thing. Burrell, you're 1,000,000% correct. There has to be a culture change. There has to be a change the top. And listen, folks don't want to admit this. There's still an old crow that's still in the Falcons up top that ain't budged, and his finger is still on this team. His name is Rich McKay.
Yep. I don't know how he kept his job. He should have been fired when he drafted Parade Jerry in the first round, and he was I don't know how, but it goes back. Now I will say this because we do crap on Arthur Blank. I love Arthur Blank more than I do that Smith guy before him. The Falcons were in a dead spot. Arthur Blank, the last 20 years is okay, and he's not Jerry Jones. But if you're not going to be Jerry Jones, you're going to have to let Rich McKay go and let this new Frank Francona, the new general manager, let him take over and let him do what he do, and you just sit back and relax. It can't be you walking in the rooms at draft. None of that. You got to let this kid do what he does because Blank don't mind giving out the money. The problem was he was letting the wrong people get. When we got Edwards from Minnesota Vikings, Hartwell, the countless number. The countless number of horrible free agents that we brought here has just been miserable. And that's not on Arthur Blank. That was on the people you had. Rich McKay is the one who brought Hartwell here. Dimitrov. There's no way that you should have brought that young man from the Los Angeles Rams when he was playing next to Aaron Donald.
Steven Jackson was wore out.
Steven Jackson, another one. There's no way you should have brought Steven Jackson. There's no way you should have brought that boy that was on the side of You just
Yep.
don't do that, man. Same thing with Gurley. He had a bum knee. Why would you
Yeah.
bring him here? And I mean,
Yeah.
the list goes on. So I can't put that on Arthur, but I also think that, like y'all are saying, you got to put on Arthur that, hey, the same amount of money that you put into wanting to get this dome and not letting these high school kids play in your dome and all this
Come
money you want
on.
to make, you're going to have to start letting these men make the choices and get rid of Rich McKay. There's no reason to have that man there. Because I thought that was what we were going to do to Dimitrov. I just knew Dimitrov was going to end up in the front office or something like that.
Let me. Can I say this before you? Because I know we got to go. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they bring in the head coach before they brought in the GM?
Exactly.
And your GM is supposed to, your GM and your owner supposed to be on the same page with the philosophy of the coach and the organization that you have.
That part.
That's a problem. Also, you have your Mike Vick carryovers, but the way Arthur Blank has set up this culture, he probably don't want to go back to that.
Exactly.
Yes. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. Definitely, Michael Vick has a lot to do why Black won't bring in certain players. You know that. I agree with that all day.
I'll say this. I'll drop this on. This is a little inside nugget. So the culture is jacked up. Rich McKay's the holdover. That you did hire your coach before your GM, which is completely crazy, which is nothing but a GM move. Because traditional football programs, your GM hires the coach. So the
That's
GM
right.
technically did hire the coach. His name is Rich McKay. Now you wonder why Rich McKay is still there, because it goes back to what Kevin is saying. I'm doing this like a preacher. I'm going to wrap it all in. Okay, here we go. The money is the situation. James said the evil in this thing is the money situation, because Rich McKay has made Arthur Blank a ton of money. That's why he has held onto him the way he has. Now here comes another nugget. My kinfolk went, and his boy have same. His boy works for the Indianapolis Colts, named Rocco. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. Rocco and Rich McKay have the same agent. All right, Rocco came in. Had Rocco got the job as GM, he was gonna bring my cousin in, who's gonna work as pro personnel right up under him for the Falcons. Rocco told him, he says, "Yo, why?" When they were doing the interview process, they went through this thing of grading players. They showed them, this is how you grade players. You got dogs, you got this, and this. He says, why is this dude in this meeting? Why is he still here? The guy that he was talking about was a holdover from the last regime. He was one of the scouts. He was Rich McKay's eyes and ears. He was going back reporting everything to Rich McKay.
Wow.
So what ended up happening was they took all the information they got from Rocco, took it and said, we're going to use this and we're going to go get who we want. They went and got the guy out of Tennessee, who was an offensive coordinator, who from all accounts of those who were connected to him say he cracks under pressure. That game against Baltimore, when Tennessee played them 2.5 years ago, they were running up and down Baltimore throat. Baltimore loaded the box. The offensive coordinator, who is now our coach, refused to throw the ball. Baltimore ended up beating Tennessee when they should have went on. That's when Derrick Henry broke that 2,000 yards the first time. He ended up beating them going on because our coach Smith cracked under pressure. Couldn't make the adjustment mentally. Anyway, Rich McKay hired the guy from Tennessee, who happens to be a billionaire. And most folks don't know that. They don't know who his father is. His father is the owner of the Washington Redskins. So that's how he got in. In my world, you just did a favor for the dad, for Rich McKay. He just got his son hired. But then you turn around and get your GM afterwards, which is completely crazy. So that's why we have bad culture in the Falcon. Blake truly want to get this right. He got to do a laxative and flush this thing all the way out. You got to get rid of all of this stuff. Right. His father is the owner of FedEx. That's right. Who also part owner of the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
You got to flush it out. That's the only way we're going to get this team right. Blank got to say, I'm hands off. I'm moving everybody out. I'm starting this thing over, or I'm going to let my GM, who I got now, you got 100% control, influence, run it like you. If the coach ain't doing what you need, you got the authority in a year or so to make a move and get him up out of there if we ain't winning. That's the kind of culture change you got to make, because right now we don't make it. Who went and drafted Jamal Anderson? Who did that?
That was McKay. That was a McKay one.
Okay, I'll give you another one. Dimitrov. Now, truth be told, Burrell, we should have drafted Gurley. Had we drafted Gurley, Gurley would have been our rookie running back on that Super Bowl team.
Yep.
We would have tore the league up. He would have tore the Patriots apart running that rock. The next 3 years, Gurley was the number one running back in the league. You couldn't touch him.
Yeah.
But
We took the preacher from Cartersville, the boy that I know him. I've met him when he was younger. He really wants to be a preacher. That's what's wrong with Beasley Jr.
Yeah.
He wants to be more a preacher than he wants to be a football player. I told his cousin, you tell him I said, get this money. We got enough broke preachers out here, and then you can go preach afterwards. After you get the paper and get the check. Stop this foolishness. So,
But how do you want better? How do you want better? People forget this. The year that we got AJ Terrell, I loved the AJ Terrell pick. I loved it from day one.
Yeah.
But in that second round, we could have got Diggs.
Oh,
Just this year, you pass on the defensive end for the New York Giants. I talked about this before.
from Georgia.
And
And
you
I
get Richie
told you
Gant,
wrong
who can't
with
even make the field. But beside Richie Gant, you could have got Asante Samuels Jr., the cornerback, who is a stud right now.
Stud.
So it's just, come on, man, what y'all doing? And you still didn't get no pass rush.
No.
Still-
You did not draft one
None.
pass rusher. And this draft was a quarterback heavy and pass rush heavy draft.
Quarterback. But now this one
Quarterback.
coming, you ain't getting them quarterbacks like that.
I'm not a big Justin Fields fan. People are. I just don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. But I would have did whatever we had to do to try to get that Trey Lance. And if you couldn't have gotten Trey Lance, I would have drafted down, gotten Parsons, because you still could have got Parsons, and you could have got that boy in the second round. You
You
would have
got
been fine.
Mac Jones. Mac Jones was available.
Man, and Mac Jones is balling. But that goes against that whole narrative, because I think what I've noticed in a lot of the Falcon groups, white people think that when we say a mobile quarterback, they think we're talking about a black quarterback.
No,
I don't need you to be.
move.
I don't need you to run all over the field. Mac Jones is mobile. At the end of the day, he can get in the pocket. That's all I need you to do. I'm not saying you got to run for 1,000 yards. That's all I need you to do.
Make plays. Yep.
Make plays. Move the chains. That's one thing I like what he just said. And I know we got to go. That just because you're a mobile quarterback does not mean that you have to run down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elude the people enough and make enough steps with your drops and everything, and step up here and move there in order to keep the play moving, and then keep your eyes downfield
That's it.
and make a play?
Yes.
You ain't got to run 4.9. I mean, you could be running a 4.9. You don't have to run a 4.6 and a 4.5, 4.3, 40, whatever, to be a mobile quarterback. Because even if you look at Russell Wilson is a mobile quarterback. But a lot of times, Russell, when he getting away from people, Russell looking down the field.
Yep.
Throwing the ball.
And Russell's not running a 4.4 40. He's not that type of athlete. He might be running a 4.7, 4.8, something like that, maybe.
You're right.
But he makes plays though.
Makes plays.
That's what we got to get. We got to get somebody to make plays. I mean, my thing is, I said if we could get Russell Wilson, I'll take him. Whatever. But it's time to go.
Yeah. We'll definitely get him. Listen, guys, it has been wonderful. Listen, I'm loving the show. I think there's a great evolution that's happening with the show. We're evolving. Our numbers are picking up. More people are logging on. I'm increasing the tags on YouTube so people can follow us. Everyone that's looking, spread the word. We're here every first and third Monday night coming through. This week I'm gonna do a little something special. I'm gonna be popping in, so whichever one of my hosts that are available, they'll join me. Co-hosts, they'll join me, because we're coming up to this national championship game of college football. I got a special lady that's going to join us. She's a pastor. Her name is Teresa Goggins. She's pretty powerful, and she's a rabid, crazy Alabama fan that went off on me on the night that Georgia lost. She hollered my name on her broadcast about 20 times, telling the folks to go find me on her little live in her house. So, but she's smart. She knows the game. She's done her study of Nick Saban. She's really done a dive into his psyche of why he operates the way he operates, why he does things the way he does it. So she's going to be good to come on here and talk. And I got a list of topics and stuff I'm gonna hit throughout the week, just little 15-minute spills, 20-minute, 10, 12-minute spills, something like that. But keep us before you guys. Pray for us. We're praying for you. Pray for the world. Pray for our young people. Pray for college and NFL athletes. Those not just the boys. The girls are dealing with mental health situation. What's the wonderful young lady that went to the gymnastics and stepped away for mental health?
Simone
Simone
Biles.
Biles. Yeah.
Wow.
Simone
Mhm.
Biles, her as well,
Yeah.
as well as the young lady that did the tennis. She was dealing with some mental
I know you're talking about. I can't
health.
think.
Mhm.
So this
I
thing
know
is
what you're talking
real.
about,
This thing is real, and let's just be in prayer for our world, our culture, everybody. Thank y'all so much. It's been real, been Hill. I'm out. We out. We love you
Hey,
guys.
Hey, don't
Peace.
forget Dan Reeves and his family, and
Yeah.
my man John Madden. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Osaka.
Keep
Thank you,
playing for
thank you,
them.
James Wesley. Osaka. Yeah, she's awesome. Awesome young lady, young tennis star. Let's keep her and her family and all those that's dealing with mental illness. Even pray for old Antonio Brown. Listen, he's still human. He got a soul to be saved. You know, I told y'all we kingdom minded. We sports, but at the end of the day, it's all about souls. So we're
He
gonna
at
do
the
our
Nets
thing.
game tonight.
He's where?
The Brooklyn Nets game.
Pray for him.
Tell KD to lay hands on him.
We got to pray for him. Somebody at the stadium go lay hands on him and cast the devil out. That is funny. And look, I bet he couldn't get back from they left him in New York. He couldn't get back. So he went to the Nets game. Oh, that's funny. All right, guys. We out. We love you guys. Be blessed. Tune in, spread the word, share this show, and keep track of us as we continue to grow this thing. Peace.
30 seconds.